Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very thorough analysis. If on August 9th general election, the results are going to go against the wishes of Kenya Kwanza, then I can categorically state here that they are laying a ground to reject the results. And the latest bitterness in the campaign trail is, according to me, part of a strategy by Deputy President to blackmail President Uhuru Kenyatta's activities 10 days to the general election. These two statements, we are going to look at them critically. And so I want to humbly request you to subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video. We continue to remind us about our 50 bob challenge for our sister Sarah, who is locked in Kenyatta Hospital with a bill that has inflated up to 1 million. She was suffering acute leukemia. The number is there. And of course, we are giving ourselves 21 days, that is 3 weeks, to raise 1 million. If each one of us can raise at least 50 shillings, we'll be in a position to achieve that and write the 1 million check to one of our own who is a subscriber in this channel. My number is 0710 62 78 89. I also want to say that those who reach out, you can also reach out directly to Sarah. Her number is 0716 357 360. Now, let's continue supporting. Do you want to believe that President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta met with Kalenjin elders in Nakuru, his private farm, and took that opportunity to issue threats to Kimani Ichung'wah, Rigathi Gachagua, Moses Kuria, and Nyoro? Do you want to believe that? Because earlier this week, the president was in Nakuru for 2 days. And on the last day, he held night meetings with a group of Kalenjin leaders led by Franklin Bett. There was also Stephen Tarus, amongst the other politicians. Notably missing is Gideon Moi, was not part of that team. But that Uhuru's meeting, according to me, is what has exploded this anger on Deputy President's side. And while I want to be persuaded that the private meeting that the president was holding with Kalenjin elders was just part of an extensive plan to campaign for Raila Odinga, what do you think president would do, or to campaign for Raila Odinga just reaching out to the Kalenjin community? Do you think that is the best meeting? That was the right meeting for President Uhuru Kenyatta to issue threats to William Ruto and his allies from Mount Kenya? How was that going to translate to votes? And from where I am seated, the latest anger meted on President Uhuru Kenyatta is purely a political strategy that do not have a direct link to what we have been treated to. I want us to listen to the voice of Justin Muturi and also listen to Rigathi Gachagua. But before that, let me tell you, Moses Kuria has written a letter to the Inspector General of Police, Mutiambai, that President threatened him, and also there are a bit of some favorism in Mount Kenya. And this is something that is now coming up, emerging. Now, I want us to look at it critically. Really, do you really think that whatever is in the campaign trail is what the president discussed? Because details of that meeting is what is bringing this. But I just see a panicking side. William Ruto and the allies are simply in panic mode. We want to look at this critically. Listen to J.D.
I want to direct this to the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. We have seen you call elders and leaders to your private farm in Nakuru, the Share Farm. We have heard you issue threats honest, Rigathi Gachagua, David Nyoro, and Kimani Ichung'wah and Moses Kuria. Their only crime is to stand steadfast and firmly behind William Samoei Ruto. I want to say it here that it is absolutely reckless, irresponsible, and unbecoming of the President of the Republic of Kenya to go issuing threats against his citizens whom he has a constitutional mandate and responsibility to protect their lives.
That was Speaker Muturi speaking in Nyeri. In the same meeting, I saw Rigathi Gachagua attacking President Uhuru Kenyatta, that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to kill them. And I don't know, Uhuru Kenyatta should not kill them the way JM Kariuki killed them. That was a team in Nyeri, and Deputy President William Ruto was also in Bungoma throwing missiles to the president. And honestly, it does not need magical science to interpret what is happening. And without much ado, I want us to also get a snippet from Rigathi Gachagua's missiles. It was all allegations from one statement to the other.
Kisha mimi ati nitajua yeye ni rais wa Kenya. Mimi Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na kuomba nikiwa hapa Nyeri, usiue sisi vile baba yako aliua JM Kariuki. Mimi nakuomba. Na rais, kama lazima uue sisi, utuue wiki hii watu watakuja kuzika sisi. Ni nini unauliza sisi? Unakasirika tunaenda nyumbani. Si ulikuwa unajua iko kwa katiba lazima uende nyumbani? Makasiriko ni ya nini? Wewe ni tajiri. Hii leri hii ulijenga hapa ukafukuza watu wetu hapa kwa barabara. Inabeba mafuta ya familia yako kupeleka Nyanyuki. Na hakuna mtu ile linasaidia. Kuna mtu ile linasaidia. Watu ya Chaka, Rais Uhuru Kenyatta walikuwa na soko hapa wanapata pesa. Ukawafukuza ukawapeleka pahali hakuna biashara. Ukajenga leri ukatumia 3.8 billion. Na kazi ya leri hiyo ni kubeba mafuta ya Rubes ya familia yenu kwenda Nyanyuki. Rais wetu umekuja hapa, umenunua kampuni zote za maziwa.
Guys, while these statements were being released from the different rallies, one question that I asked myself was this: how is this adding votes? What is the strategy? Because everything you do now, this is a very precarious situation that you need to be very cautious these 10 days to the election. And you'll ask yourself, okay, fine, there is a problem, the fallout has been there, they don't want the president to talk about them. Well, honestly, Kenya Kwanza has been talking about President Uhuru Kenyatta for the last 4 years. You saw that, so if you listen to that rejoinder that you should not talk about me, I think that was said by William Ruto, you see someone who is really hypocritical, because all these politicians have been speaking about President Uhuru Kenyatta for 4 years. Then the question, who is on the ballot? Why is it that Kenya Kwanza team, instead of facing the contest with the president, with Raila Odinga, they are going after President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta? William Ruto was making a statement, I think in Bungoma, that the president is trying to whip county commissioners and the chiefs so that the chiefs can support President Deputy Raila Odinga, that their families are being targeted. Moses Kuria is talking about William Ruto planning to harm President Uhuru Kenyatta, planning to harm Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. It's all about hogwash, and I want to really look at this critically so that the Kenyan voter should have an understanding of what is happening. This in my understanding is a political strategy, and I think in these few days to the general election, we owe you an understanding so that you get to understand how exactly this is playing out, because what we are consuming now is just tantrums, but there is bit that more than what catches the eye. There is a ploy to blackmail the president over the private engagement that he's been doing. And from my observation, if the president met elders Kalenjin elders in Nakuru. And this information then comes out that is brewing this anger. I think someone wants to show president that of course whatever is normally said in private goes to public, and perhaps his handlers are already infiltrated. He wants to show the president that maybe there are moles within that camp. That is one thing that is there. Because what I'm challenging is this. The President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot meet Kalenjin elders and tell Kalenjin elders that Gachagua na nani watajua yeye ni nani. I'm like, that is information that cannot add votes to Raila Odinga in Kalenjin. Honestly, I don't think. If that is what he said, even in public, he went and made a statement that wote ni wetu, lakini I think they still need time to mature up. I want to believe, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the president, but I want to believe that the threats are just a fabrication by the Kenya Kwanza team to create a narrative to show how the president's private engagements are being exposed. And perhaps they're just whistleblowing so that someone can come out, or maybe the media will then probe. People from State House might come out and say what the president said somewhere. This is something that is a strategy. And a political observer, keen political observer, will see Kenya Kwanza planning to head to the August 9th general election as victims of Uhuru's threats. And if you go to an election as a victim, you are going to election and you're already saying that the president wants to do that, the president wants to do that, and already this is happening. That is a ground to stand in, to wake up the next day and say, I reject the results. And the rejection of the results is just to create a momentum. Perhaps they have seen that the numbers are not adding up, and we kept on saying, and there is no point, there is no reverse gear. What is playing out, if you ask me, is Kenya Kwanza are sitting pretty comfortable somewhere saying that we must now illegitimize the next regime. Either by design, they have seen they're losing, or secondly, they might be panicking of the president's stake in the next government. And the sympathy, if you see them attacking president's chain of command, I see people who want to attract sympathy or maybe divide or get some support from the president's chain of command. This is the truth. We have 47 county commissioners. Even though they align and they listen to the president's orders, but they are also human beings, and they have personal political alienations. So you cannot say that the president is using all of them. No, even the chiefs. I want to believe that a chief in William Ruto's village might not dance to President Uhuru Kenyatta's tune. Let's say the truth. So the issue about attacking the chiefs, attacking the county commissioner, and so, and of course they're generalizing it. What that shows to you is they already want to create chain of command and infiltrate that process, so that someone might say, mimi nataka niruke Kenya Kwanza, so that if they form government, because they've already been understanding that maybe the government is not going to be formed by Kenya Kwanza team. That is something that is now playing out. But anger over Uhuru's last lap involvement in the politics, I think they are ganging up to create a ground, to polarize the ground, so that number one, the president might slow down on his last-minute political activities. In my previous video, I mentioned to you that Raila's, what the president is going to do in the next 10 days is just taking Raila to the finish line and the crown. It is just that, taking Raila to the finish line and the crown. Now, that is what William Ruto and the team are planning, to create a ground, for president maybe to slow down, because already there is a lot of propaganda that has been taken out there. And so when he goes to Central, perhaps he might not speak about what he has planned, but respond to the reckless remarks from those other young politicians. I want to believe that is a strategy on table. But again, it depends on how you look at it. And this, to me, can be just a strategy to raise the alarm, raise the stakes, so that someone might say, we cannot go to election before a handshake. So that there is already a tone down between president and his deputy. Take this to bank. there is no handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, neither Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto before this election. The positions have already been made, and perhaps after. But before this election, I don't see that one becoming a possibility. That's my bold statement on this. And guys, I want to read your comments. What do you think is the strategy with the anger?